Hello friends, last time we have discussed about the many series like Lyman series, Balmer series, Pascal series, Brackett series and Fund series, and already we have discussed about how to calculate the wavelength of all line of the particular series. Then if we think from the first lecture, then in first lecture we have discussed about the Thomson model, but already we have discussed the Thomson was failed to explain atomic structure of the atom, and Rutherford has successfully explained atomic structure, but the Rutherford was failed to explain stability of atom, and that stability of the atom explained by the Neil Bohr by giving their postulates. Then today we are going to discuss about the Bohr's postulates. The postulates means the whatever the statements are there, without proof we have to accept it. So by giving their postulates, Neil Bohr has explained stability of the atom. Then in first postulate, he has given that whatever the electron is revolving in the orbit, during the revolution in orbit, electron does not emit energy, and these orbits are called stationary orbit. Means depending on the energy, electron can revolve in any orbit, but whenever electron is revolving in any orbit, it does not emit energy. मतलब during revolution electron does not emit energy, and this orbit is called stationary orbit. Means in stationary orbit, electron does not emit energy. Then second postulate, okay, out of all orbits permitted by the classical physics, electron can revolve in those orbits which having angular momentum is in integral multiple of h upon 2 pi. Once again, the out of all orbits permitted by classical physics, electron can revolve only on those orbits which having angular momentum is in integral multiple of h upon 2 pi. If we consider angular momentum as a L, then it is in integral multiple of h upon 2 pi. Here we can say m is integral multiple and h is called Planck constant. Just remember the value of Planck constant 6.625 and raised to minus 34 joule into second. The unit of Planck constant is joule second. Then angular momentum is mh upon 2 pi. Now from the 11th standard we can say angular momentum. Then angular momentum is r cross p. During the revolution in orbit, if we think about the diagram, then here there is a nucleus. Whenever electron is revolving around the nucleus, at that time, at any point its speed, velocity along with the tangent drop, this one is called as a r. We know that angular momentum in vector form it is r cross p, and here the radius and speed velocity are perpendicular to each other. Therefore sin 91, then angular momentum we can say rp otherwise Rm into V. Then here we can say angular momentum mvr is equal to nh upon 2 pi. This one is the second postulate given by the Niels Bohr for the stability of the atom. And about the third postulate, whenever electron jump from higher energy level to the lower energy level, it emits the energy in discrete form. Otherwise, if atom means electron absorb the energy, at that time it transitions from lower energy level to the higher energy level. Then whenever either atom absorb or emit the energy, अब atom मतलब electron absorb or emit the energy, at that time it transitions from lower to higher, otherwise higher to lower. If we consider EI is the higher energy level and EK is the lower energy level, then whenever electron transitions from higher energy level to the lower energy level, it emits the energy is equal to difference of the energy level of the orbits and is equal to h nu. Nu is the frequency. Otherwise, if we want to write in terms of wavelength, then it is hc upon lambda. We can say nu ik, here also lambda ik. So by giving these three postulates, Niels Bohr has successfully explained stability of the atom. In first postulate itself, it has explained okay, whatever the orbits are there around the nucleus, these all are the stationary orbit, and during the revolution in stationary orbit, electron does not emit energy. Second one, related with the angular momentum, electron can revolve in those orbits having angular momentum is in integral multiple of h upon 2 pi. We will use the formula for the angular momentum, either m is equal to nh upon 2 pi or mvr is equal to nh upon 2 pi. And whenever electron transitions from higher energy level to the lower energy level, it emits the energy is equal to h nu hc upon lambda. Otherwise, if absorb the energy, then it transitions from lower energy level to the higher energy level. Now, after the both postulates, we have to derive the equation for the radius of the orbit in which electron can revolve and the total energy of the electron. We can say orbital radius. Orbital radius of the electron. So when we remember the Bohr's postulates, according to the classical physics, electron can revolve in any orbit, but these orbits are called stationary orbit. Then, if we consider one stationary orbit like this, here there is a nucleus possesses Ze charge. Suppose electron is revolving in the stationary orbit. At any point, its velocity along with the tangentron, and this one is the radius of the orbit, that we can say. First of all, we have to derive the equation for the orbital radius. Now, whenever electron revolving around the nucleus, during the circular motion, one force is exerted, it's called centripetal force. And here the centripetal force is balanced by Coulombian force exerted between nucleus and electron. Then the formula for the centripetal force is mv square upon r is equal to the Coulombian force. The Coulombian force is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. One charge Ze, Z is square upon R square. From this we can make the subject as a R. Then यहां से एक R कैंसल, इस R को सब्जेक्ट बनाना. Then it is 1/4 pi epsilon naught Z is square upon mv square, says equation 1. It is not the perfect equation for the radius because यहाँ पर हमें velocity भी derive करनी है, the speed of the electron. This is the equation number 1. Now, if we remember the Bohr postulate, particularly second postulate, using Bohr postulate, angular momentum mvr is equal to nh upon 2 pi. Then here also we can say just make the subject as a r and h upon 2 pi into mv, says equation number 2. We can compare the equation number 1 and 2. Both are the equation for the radius. Comparing equation 1 and 2, then we can say mh upon 2 pi mv is equal to 1/4 pi epsilon naught Z is square upon mv square. Here m will be cancelled, pi also cancel, 2 बचेगा यहाँ पर and 1 v कैंसल. ये जो v है अगर इसको आप सब्जेक्ट बनाए then equation like this Z is square upon 2 epsilon naught and h. इसी कैलकुलेशन को वापस देख रहे हम. then when we make the v subject तो n is तो डिनोमिनेटर में, here z is square, बाकी यहाँ पर ये 2 pi कैंसल, ऐसे एप्सिलॉन नॉट एक m कैंसल और v को तो हमने सब्जेक्ट कर दिया. then this is the equation for the speed of the electron revolving in the orbit. then from this equation we can say speed of the electron is directly proportional to z upon n. n is the integral number of the orbit. We can say it is called orbit number also. Then speed of the electron is proportional to z upon n. इक्वेशन नंबर 3 बोल दे इसको. अब यही इक्वेशन नंबर 3 को अगर हम रेडियस करना है इक्वेशन नंबर 2 में रख दें. देन फ्रॉम इक्वेशन 3 and 2 orbital radius r is equal to nh upon 2 pi m. Just place the value of v, then it is z is square, denominator in numerator, then it is 2 epsilon naught and h. then 2 cancel, orbital radius is n square h square epsilon naught upon pi z is square m. then orbital radius we can say r is equal to n square h square epsilon naught upon pi z is square m. from this equation we can say r proportional to n square upon z. अब अगर यही इक्वेशन हमें हाइड्रोजन के लिए करनी है कि फॉर हाइड्रोजन एटम you can say z is equal to 1, then r proportional to n square. otherwise equation for the radius is n square h square epsilon naught upon pi is square m. from this we can say r proportional to n स्क्वायर। तो ये भी याद रखना है कि फॉर हाइड्रोजन एटम r proportional to n square, otherwise just remember the complete equation, क्या proportional to n square upon z। यहाँ से बहुत सारे न्यूमेरिकल और MCQ सॉल्व हो सकते हैं। Now our interest to derive total energy। Total energy of the electron। Now for the total energy, it is the addition of kinetic and potential energy। Then about kinetic energy, K is equal to half mv square। Then here we have the equation as a mv square। If we cancel out r here, then mv square is 1/4 pi epsilon naught z square, और हाफ mv स्क्वायर है इसलिए ये होगा 1/8 pi epsilon naught z square upon r। This is the equation for the kinetic energy। Now potential energy U is equal to, the potential energy between positive charge and negative charge, it is k q1 q2 upon r, but ये positive electron has a negative charge, that's why it is minus k की जगह पर 1/4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 z e into e square upon r। This is the potential energy। Now about the total energy, then total energy is the addition of kinetic energy and potential energy। Therefore if we substitute the value of kinetic energy, it is 1/8 pi epsilon naught z square upon r minus 1/4 pi epsilon naught z square upon r। और ये इसकी कैलकुलेशन हमने ऑलरेडी आगे डिस्कशन कर रखी है। अगर इसको हम 1/4 pi epsilon naught z square upon r को कॉमन निकाल दे, तब टोटल एनर्जी की इक्वेशन, अगर हम टोटल एनर्जी को En से डिनोट कर दे, देन टोटल एनर्जी इज इक्वल टू माइनस 1/8 pi epsilon naught z square upon r। तो काइनेटिक एनर्जी और टोटल एनर्जी सेम बट ऑपोजिट, अगर ये प्लस है तो माइनस, और पोटेंशियल एनर्जी नेगेटिव में डबल होती है। दैट ऑलरेडी वी हैव डिस्कस्ड। नाउ related with the r, if we use the equation for the orbital radius, here r is equal to n square epsilon naught upon pi z square m। Therefore equation for the total energy is minus 1/8 pi epsilon naught z square upon r। r means n square epsilon naught, denominator in numerator, it is pi z square m। Then for the total energy here, pi will be cancelled, therefore it is minus z square e raised to 4m upon 8 epsilon naught square n square h square। This is the equation for the total energy, and here we can say total energy is directly proportional to z square upon n square। और अगर हाइड्रोजन के लिए बोल दे, then it is inversely proportional to n square। बाकी ये जो भी है वो सब कांस्टेंट, e raised to 4m upon 8 epsilon naught square h square is कांस्टेंट। तब अगर हमें इस एनर्जी, जैसे हमने बोल दिया कि फॉर हाइड्रोजन एटम z इज इक्वल टू 1, चलो अब उसी का डिस्कशन हम कर दे यहाँ पर। देन इक्वेशन फॉर द एनर्जी इज माइनस z स्क्वायर e raised to 4m upon 8 epsilon naught square n square h square। तब फॉर हाइड्रोजन एटम z is equal to 1 and therefore En is equal to minus e raised to 4m upon 8 epsilon naught square h square, और n स्क्वायर को अलग करना। तो ये जो वैल्यू है इसके हमें वैल्यू मिलेगी 2.18 10 टू द पावर माइनस 17 समथिंग कुछ मिलेगी और 18 समथिंग इन जूल। And that's why here we can say it is 21.8 10 to the power minus 19 जूल। तो अगर ये सब वैल्यूज रखो, E की वैल्यू, मास ऑफ द इलेक्ट्रॉन एप्सिलॉन नॉट h, पूरी कैलकुलेशन करोगे तो इतना जूल में मिलेगा। अब अगर इसको तुम्हें इलेक्ट्रॉन वोल्ट में कन्वर्ट करना है तो हमारे पास इक्वेशन है कि 1 इलेक्ट्रॉन वोल्ट इज इक्वल टू 1.6 10 टू द पावर माइनस 19 जूल। 1 इलेक्ट्रॉन वोल्ट इतना जूल है, हमें जूल में से इलेक्ट्रॉन वोल्ट में जाना है। देन वी हैव टू डिवाइड विद 1.6 10 टू द पावर माइनस 19, मतलब इस वैल्यू को अगर तुम 1.6 10 टू द पावर माइनस 19 से डिवाइड करो तब एनर्जी की तुम्हें वैल्यू मिलेगी माइनस 13.6 n स्क्वायर। तो एज इट इज इलेक्ट्रॉन वोल्ट। So this is the value for the total energy of the electron in any orbit, in any orbital number, and for hydrogen atom. तो हाइड्रोजन के लिए हमने बोला it is माइनस 13.6 अपॉन n स्क्वायर इलेक्ट्रॉन वोल्ट। अगर तुम्हें कोई भी दूसरे एटम के लिए चाहिए then you have to multiply with z square. Then here we can say for any atom total energy is minus z square 13.6 upon n square electron volt.